Hey y'all, it's Farmer MeeMaw, and today I thought I would tell you a little bit about what's been going on since my last video when I was talking about wanting to get diabetic supplies and foods to tornado victims. Okay, so I got some supplies together and I took them to I did some research and nobody could really tell me the right place to take diabetic supplies. They're like, oh, that's a great idea. I don't know what you do with them. I don't know where you take them. And so I ended up taking them to a big distribution center type place at a church where people knew to come and they have food, they have water, they have groceries, they have just all kinds of things that you could possibly need if you just lost everything. And they are trained to ask, like, what do you need? And if they don't have it, they try to find a way to get it. There was someone yesterday that needed some very specific, it wasn't diabetes, but some very specific medical supplies for their medical condition, and they were able to get them those through some work. And so that was kind of the place that was the right place to go and take these supplies. However, the person or the people needed to know to ask for them. And I don't think that people necessarily knew we've got diabetic supplies. Unless they said, I need a glucose meter, they wouldn't have necessarily known to go see if they have any glucose meters. But there were diabetics that were coming through to get groceries, and they weren't able to use the bags of groceries that they were handing out because the groceries were primarily those convenience foods that you don't need a stove, you don't need electricity, prepackaged, usually high carb foods, bread, crackers. They did have some granola bars, protein bars, but a lot of it is like fruit, but they also had some canned meats. They had peanut butter. And so while I was there, I put together some diabetic friendly bags, grocery bags from their supplies. I just left out all of the stuff that they weren't able to use. And so that was Monday. And Tuesday, I went back up there. I got more supplies that were donated from a local pharmacy. Praise the Lord. Wonderful, wonderful pharmacy here locally. And so I took those up there, took them to the same place, and dropped them off for them to, find who they need to go to. I didn't stay and do anything there Tuesday. That was yesterday. Because we had, if you've watched the weather, they were predicting a potentially dangerous set of tornadoes and storms coming back through Arkansas. And so, because of it being such a close call with my son and his daughter, they wanted to come to my mom's to have, my mother has a storm cellar. But the storm cellar was never sealed. And so there is usually, 1 to 3 inches of water in the bottom of the storm cellar. And so I had to go over yesterday to pump all the water out of the storm cellar. And I had to go look for a pump. There wasn't one. So I had to go find a pump, buy a pump and a water hose. And just something I've never had to do before. I was already exhausted, I think, partly from just Monday, and because God is still working on, what am I supposed to do with this information? What am I supposed to do with this as far as diabetic people who need stuff? Because you guys, the food that gets donated, and I want you to keep this in mind the next time you donate, those shelf-stable items, a lot of them are high carb, and so the groceries that get handed out generally are going to be things with a lot of carbs. Now, when you're a tornado victim and you're doing some emotional eating, you may be craving carbs. And so there's that. These may be some foods that you're just all too happy, to consume when you're stressed out. And these poor people that just, my heart's broke for them. And I was telling my husband, can you imagine, like, if we were in this situation and we're having to go to a church and, just ask for basic needs, clothes, underwear, socks, and food. And you make do with what you've got because that's you've got to make do. You know, but it was just on my heart that we need better, shelf stable, easy to consume, like pop top cans for all of these more healthier options. And so I don't even, y'all, I'm going to admit right now, I just I lost my train of thought. So I'm just going to pick up and keep going. So yesterday, I went and I handed these diabetic supplies to this location. But as I was doing that, God's still working on me. There's more to be done. I feel unsettled about the situation. I want to do more. And so I called all the disaster relief organizations. Red Cross takes money and blood, and they've got a history of not being good stewards of the money that are donated. And so and then I talked to the Arkansas Baptist Association's disaster relief thing, and they've got a training coming up later this month, and I may do that and become like I don't know if it's certified or trained anyway, somebody that can be more active in disaster relief. And I suggest to you, if you ever want to help like that, go and talk to somebody. You can look up not the Arkansas. You can look at is it the American Baptist Association maybe? Just look up the Baptist Association. They have them in different states. Or disaster relief associations, and see what you can do, because not everybody is cutting down trees and things like that. There are other places where you can just be trained to ask the right questions to find out where they need to go to get their needs met. So anyway, there's that. But I talked to the Diabetes Association. They didn't know anything about, like, they don't have anything that necessarily hands out diabetic supplies, at least not in Arkansas. I looked at several different options and places. I called the governor's office and the lieutenant governor's office. Actually, I called the governor's office and talked with one girl, and then she was like, "Let me put you through to the governor's office." And everybody that I talk to is like, that's a good idea. That's definitely a need that needs to be met. But no one knew exactly where to go to have the need met, other than there's the command center where I took the supplies, and if someone comes in and says, I need this, they have it there to give to them. My heart is telling me that there needs to be a better way where we go, hey, if you need this, here we are, instead of waiting until somebody knows they can ask for that. Does that make sense? And so I'm working on it. I'm looking into it, and I am not done with this, because all of the little things in my brain are firing that are telling me I'm on the right track, because this is kind of checking all the boxes for me. And so I do have a GoFundMe set up right now. Nobody's donated. I feel awkward, y'all. You know me. I don't like asking for help, and I don't like asking for money. Even though the money is not for me, it's just one of those weird things. That's just one of those things about me. And so I did put it out there in the last video. If you want to do PayPal, if you want to send a check, whatever. I will use it and I will show you. And I posted a picture on Facebook of the supplies that the pharmacist donated. And I took those up there yesterday, and I'm just really excited about that. So anyway, I am, there is just so much swirling in my head right now, and I don't want to say anything before I have it hashed out because I just don't want to put too much out there. But I'm working on it, and those of you who have sent money, I am going to be checking my mailbox. I wanted to give it a day or two to get here, and then I will go and get them out of my post office box, and then go get more supplies and take to Little Rock. And I may, there are also places in, I think, Jacksonville, well, I went to Little Rock. There are people in Little Rock. There are also people in North Little Rock, Jacksonville, and Cabot that are in need. And so, and Wynn, but it's really far away from where I live. So I may go to one of those other places and see if there is a need in one of their places where they're handing things out as well. But I just wanted to let you know how much I love you and I appreciate you, and I'm on it, and I'm so excited. And let me know in the comments below. Do you have any other ideas? And I want to say, not only with diabetes, but I'm also wanting to look at people with other dietary restrictions, because that is an issue as well, because there's a lot of gluten in those grocery bags that are being handed out. But it's, it's more of a systemic thing. It's like, hey, food pantries, let's really ask and include a lot of, or put more emphasis on, hey, these are the things that would really help with people with limited, or dietary restrictions, or like shelf-stable almond milk, for example, or, hey, gluten-free something. So anyway, I'm just still like my little, what do you call them? Not my chains are cranking. What, I don't know, y'all. I'm still thinking. I'm still trying to figure it out. But right now, all I know is, like I said, if you just help one person, you're helping one person. And so I'm doing what I can with what I've got and with what you guys are donating, and we are gonna meet some needs, and that's the important thing. That's what I'm doing. So y'all pray for me. Fingers crossed. Don't know. Fingers crossed. I'm gonna be able to make more and more of an effort, a concerted effort, and a more intentional effort to get the supplies where they need to be. So anyway, I love you guys, and I love your support, and I will talk to you soon with the next update. Bye, y'all.